Hey guys, in this video I will show you some simple tips and tricks with Deadlock on Fracture. And we'll start right here on A side. So first of all, you can use this grav net, for example, like this, to clear the close right, simply bouncing off and getting anyone who'd be right here to get him crouch. You can always throw this based on the info you have, for example, on top side or under the side as well, giving you the option for having a much easier entry. Later in the round you can be also throwing it, for example, based off or to bounce off the wall and get anyone on spawn, or when you are entering from the dish at the beginning of the round, you just simply wanna throw it right here, so that way if there's someone peeking you, he cannot really peek you, since he would be, for example, let's say he would be coming immediately in when I get stunned, and you should get a free kill on him. Very similar thing you can do when you're coming from arcade, for example, bounce off the wall right here. You just simply wanna run and throw it, so that way it's gonna land right here, or you just simply wanna aim a little higher. You can even jump if you want to land it further, so that way it would get anyone in these spots. So the further you throw it, I would say the better. And once again, you wanna combine these, for example, this one with a raze nade or a molotov, or your jett can dash an updraft into it. If you're coming straight, just simply from this side spawn, you just simply wanna throw it and bounce it off of this at the beginning of the round, so that way anyone who'd be peeking, for example, with operator, enemies would tend to peek, for example, all the way here and hold it. They're gonna get stunned and they cannot really run away. Of course, when you are pushing and you haven't used that one, you can, for example, throw one right here just simply behind these dices, or try to throw it and bounce off of the wall right here, so that way you would stun anyone who would be in these corners as well. There's plenty of options how to use it, but definitely at least use it for the spot behind these dices. Now let's move to your sonic sensor, which there's plenty of ways how to use it. One thing that you should know, that there's no range on it, so you can give one on A and give one on B. So how you want to use it? I would recommend using them in the spots where enemies would be always making out. So for example, it would be, for example, right here in A main, or already when they are entering, so it would be, for example, right here. You can do it on the other side as well, or you can do them, for example, on these sides of the walls, just like that. Since enemies would usually go into the side, you can be playing under the side, and when this activates, you have the info, you can peek with it, and you would know that the enemies who are close are gonna be stunned. So you just simply can get a free kill based off of these three pairs. So those are some of them that you can use. You can use one for the drop right here, have one right there, so that way the enemies would want to push, this will go off. You can have one, for example, I think this one should be better actually, since as you can see the enemies can try to dodge this first one, but this one would be much harder to dodge, but not all of them would be never jumping like this. You can be placing one right here as well, just on the wall right here, as you can see, depending how you want to do it. So having one right here should run fine. You can do one further in the dish, but once again have in mind, enemies don't usually just simply run here. They would be trying to walk and surprise you from this spot, so this one doesn't really make that much sense to use here. When using these sonic sensors, always think about the steps where enemies make them and how you can use it to your advantage. In this case, placing it on the stairs right here is probably the best one, since as you can see, the spots that it covers, covers a lot of spots, a lot of space. You can do it a bit more to the right, just like that, so that's why it works a little better, just like that. One of the best ones. You can do one, for example, even right here, as you can see. Once again, enemies would have to come up the stairs. Once again, you can be waiting for this one to go off or this one to go off, and when it goes off, you can pick with it and know that the enemies who are close are gonna be stunned, since no one is going to walk out of these spots. The same thing would work for anyone right here. As you can see, you can do one, for example, in this spot, and it would cover all of this choke point. You can do it one a bit further, since usually enemies would jump on the rope. It would make noise as well. At least when they are running in here, it would once again make noise, so you can have one right here as one, depending how you want to use it. But I would always try to place one right here, and the other one you can place it on A, so that way you can help on both sides, depending where you play and depending on what agents your team is from. If you wanna be using sonic sensors for flank, it's not bad idea, but really, when you are flanking, you never really make that much noise. You're just simply walking and not making that much noise. So it doesn't really make that much sense to use one, but it's not bad idea to use one behind your team, like close to your team, so that way usually enemies tend to go quickly when they know that there are kills potentials, so they tend to run. The way you should be using them when attacking, I would say they are the best for post plant. Let's say that you plant it in this corner. You can place your sonic sensor just like this on spike. And let's say the enemy, you are in a 1v1 situation, you are hiding in A main, and an enemy is trying to clear you. He would tap the spike, and the sonic sensor would go off, he would get stunned, and you can then peek him. You would get a lot of info from your sonic sensors. You can, in a post plant, you can just place them that way, so in spots where enemies would be already running into the sides and trying to clear you, they would never clear, for example, this one. They have no reason to look this way, and they would be trying to be looking in any of these spots, and they would get stunned, they would be running, they would not really be shift walking. The same thing works for attacking on B. Once again, use it on the spike. You usually plant right here, so use it, for example, like this, or you can use it a little bit further, just like that as well, or on this side of the box, depending how you like it and where you plant it. And then you just simply want to use another one, for example, at this spot, so that way anyone who would be coming out of the canteen, he would be stunned once again. Now let's move on to your barrier mesh, and you wanna be using that simply when the enemies are pushing. You should have in mind that you can shoot through it. However, no one can walk through it unless there are gaps like these, but usually it would fill up the gaps, just at least the one of the walls. So have that in mind, so when you hear the push, you can just simply throw it onto the ground and stop them. It takes a lot of bullets to break, as you can see. It takes a while, and you can also break only one side of the wall. It is much easier to break, so let me show you. It doesn't take that many bullets, but usually you would have to break two walls to even get to the side. So that's one way I would recommend you to do it in A main, since it's the best spot to use it from. You can also use it here and to open the doors, for example. As you can see, it would block it off perfectly. As you can see, you can either bounce off the wall or simply throw it over these walls, since it doesn't go that far. As you can see, super easy to use. You can use it in tower if you don't want to be paying attention to it. Just simply throw it here, or you can throw it a little bit further, so that way it would be even harder for enemies to go through it. Then you can be trying to help your teammates. One trick that you can be doing with these walls would be doing stuff like this. You simply place it, and when the spike is planted, you throw it onto the spike. As you can see, the enemies would have no chance of coming to the spike and going for a defuse. They would either have to break a lot of the walls or just break this overall. So you can simply do it in a post plant, do stuff like this, so that way the enemies have no chance of defusing the spike, and you can win on time as well. Definitely give this a shot. I think it's a valuable strategy that can be used and pulled off in a game. And lastly, let's move on to its ultimate. One of the ways to use it would be to get enemies off plant. It's the simplest way to use it, and you can use it, for example, under the side right here, so that way you bounce off this back wall and you would get anyone on default. You can use it for the enemies who would be planted in the corner right here, once again bounce off of the wall right there. Or you can even use it in this A main, so that way anyone who would be in this A hole, for example, if you hear them push, you can try to use this, so that way you can get some free kills. And of course you can use this even like right here. Go to this wall, aim up, and as you can see, there is this little corner. Place your crosshair right here, jump and shoot it, and you would get anyone who would be on the planting right here. Or you can even use it from spots right here for this default plant. As you can see, it would get anyone right here. And or you can try to use it off the wall. There's someone right here. You can use it in tower, for example, to bounce off these walls. As you can see, it can get anyone right here. So there's plenty of ways that you can use it. You can use it on anyone defusing, just simply bouncing off the wall and getting anyone on it off the spike. The best ways to use it, since I would say, is to be trying to pull people off the spikes if they are planting or defusing, since you know where they are in the general area at least, and I think it's the closest that you will get with your ultimate. So yeah, those are some simple tips and tricks that you can use on Fracture if you decide to play Deadlock. I hope this video is gonna help you guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and see you guys soon. Bye.